Well, this isn't going to be your first WBC, obviously. That said, coming in, knowing that you had the experience from 3 years ago, what do you want to kind of accomplish over these next week, 2 weeks to kind of ramp up for the big event?
Get as many reps as I can, honestly, to be prepared, to basically do the best I can for the Dominican Republic. And I know this is gonna be really exciting. Obviously, it's my second one, but I'm definitely looking forward to it again.
Albert give you a call, and how did that conversation go, or how did it happen?
Honestly, I was in Spain like when he called me. I remember it was like Nelson actually. Like they were like in a little like group call, or whatever, and it was a very short and sweet call. Like, so hey, like just kind of letting you know. I was like, okay, perfect, thank you. I'm gonna talk to the Mariners. We're good. It was short and sweet, honestly.
How much different is it from the last time when you were a rookie and you were kind of surprised, I think, when Nelson first asked you and invited you to now, like, you're established, like, this is something that you were going to be able to do?
Definitely different, like, once is the first time, I would say, like, the first time for anything, like, it's always, like, a little bit different, and, like, definitely not, I wouldn't want to say that there was, like, less excitement, but it was kind of, like, more clear that was what was going to happen.
You guys are obviously got a loaded roster again. What are you looking forward to most? The chance to compete with those guys?
Just go out there and compete. Compete as a whole squad. I think it's going to be really exciting to represent a lot of Dominicans that definitely love the game of baseball.
The experience this time around, too, you remember you and Teo talking about trying to work your routine, given what they have. Like, do you have a better understanding, like, I'm going to be able to do my daily routine and get my daily work in there, maybe compared to the last time you went?
Definitely. I feel like last time it was like a little bit like a lot of things going on, a lot of things I didn't know where to go, things like that. But I just feel like now I'll be able to find myself within all that.
You talked last spring about wanting to get more at bats than in a typical spring training. How can the playoff level atmosphere of the WBC and just the environment of that help springboard you into opening day as well?
It's like, we're going to play very big and meaningful games in the beginning of March, like that's definitely like ramp ups everybody. I feel like those games there's always like a lot of excitement, and that's something that you can definitely bring into the season like kind of right away.
So you were pretty open at the All-Star break last year, and just sort of how that helped springboard you in the second half. Just what did you learn when you look back at your second half last season? What did you learn about yourself, and what do you take into this year from that?
I feel like, to keep that short, I just feel like last year like I learned a lot of things about myself, like the player I am, and like the things I like to do, the things I'm better at, the things I'm not so good at, and I feel like that, it came with like maturity a little bit, like just kind of like understanding like more like I said about myself and within the game and all of that. So no, I thought it was a great year when it came to that.
It seems like in past years coming into spring training, would ask you, "Oh, you've been working on this. You want to change that." It seems like you don't have maybe the big things. You have an idea of what you want to be, how you want to hit, everything you want to do in that approach compared to years past. Do you feel that way?
I definitely do. That's kind of what I was saying. Like I learned a lot of things about myself, and what makes me me. And I think that's just kind of what I want to bring. I don't want to like necessarily like change anything. I just feel like I just want to go out there and compete the way I know how to compete, and let everything else play out.
It seemed like you talked about this as well by the time we got to the postseason, that you had this kind of clarity about your identity as a hitter. Just when did you feel like you really had maybe an aha moment or realization that this is who I want to be and this is what I can be?
I want to say like along the year, especially like kind of after like I took like a little bit of a break in the All-Star, and kind of have some time to kind of like think things through a little bit differently. I feel like from that point on, that's when like I kind of started like stepping into that more, and as the like kind of the second half kept going on, and like kind of kept getting like more validations on those things. I feel like that's when I was okay, like that's kind of who I am, and that's what I want to bring to the field.
Was there anyone any conversations you had or anyone you leaned on then?
I would say more myself. I feel like sometimes you gotta be your best own coach. Once you step on the field, or like you step in that batter's box, it's you. It's nobody else. And I feel like if you don't realize those things for yourself, it doesn't matter how much people tell you. Like it's kind of like your own. Everybody has their own thing that have to figure it out.
People don't, I think, realize, like, you don't get back-to-back days off during a season. Like, every day you're thinking about baseball, even probably on your normal off days. To have 3 or 4 days where you can just think and not have to worry about a game that day or the next day, that's got to be pretty refreshing mentally.
Definitely. I feel like that time I took it like, I took a few step backs and kind of like really like slow it down for myself. Because like you said, like, I don't really get to do that. I don't have a problem with it, That's kind of like what we got going on with baseball. But, it's really healthy and it's really good like to take that time and like, just kind of refresh and like reset yourself.
Julio, can you talk about the project renovating the field back in your hometown, how that came about and what it meant to have so many players come to the opening?
For me, honestly, like I remember since I was a kid, like I always thought that the field wasn't in the greatest shape. And after I signed and along the way, I remember like looking back at it and say like, man, like, at some point in my life, I want to be able to do something for this field. And I remember like last year, when we were done with that last event that I did, not this last one, the year before. I remember talking to my agents, talking to some of my people about like doing something for the field, because it's kind of every year I do like a little activity for my hometown. We give back like toys, baseball equipment, a lot of different things. I remember we remodeled that cultural center where like funny thing that I celebrated my 17th birthday there with like a lot of my friends and all that. We remodeled that. It's something that for the common use for the people. They do like many different things, reunions and things there. And I was kind of looking around. I was like, okay, what would be my next project here in my hometown? And definitely turned to the field. It just happened that this guy I know, his name is Brian Mejia. Like he was just done kind of helping the Orioles into like some like building their academy in the Dominican Republic. And I talked to him. I was like, hey, like I have this idea. Like I want to do something for the field, my hometown, and all that. And like. One thing just led to another, and like we were able to, basically remodel the whole field. We put like turf, like as a field in the whole field. We added the drainage. We painted it out. We remodeled the infrastructure. We added lights. Added a cage. We never had a cage before there. We basically cleaned up the whole area and like turned into a little stadium in my hometown.
Is that the field that you played on, like as a kid?
Yeah, that's the field I grew up playing. That's a free field. First baseball experience, first tournaments, first home run. Pretty much everything. I played there all the way up until I was 14 when I had to move to Santiago to keep kind of farther in my dream.
What's it like to see those kids now play on that field where you play?
Awesome to be honest. I feel like that's one of the greatest things I've done, and definitely helping out my community, and kind of like opening the door a little bit wider for the kids that are coming behind me from my hometown that has the same difficulties I had, and make it a little bit easier for them. I feel like that's like something that I'm really here for.
And did you know that all those other major leaguers were going to come to the opening, or were some of those a surprise?
I was the one setting up the whole thing, so I definitely knew. Definitely like really grateful for them for showing support and love, and it says a lot because where I'm from, like it's like really like in the corner of the Dominican Republic, and there's not really a whole lot going on, and for them to come out and go out and get out of their way and show off for me, and not just for me, but for all those kids in the community, which everybody was going crazy about it, and like it's fair to act that way, because I remember like even growing up, it was a dream of mine to just meet like actual like really good MLB players, because like I was just either watching on TV or like playing the PlayStation with them, and like I know it was a huge impact for my community, for all the kids that have dreams to become professional baseball players, and I felt that was one of the biggest things. I remember I told them like, hey, when you guys come over here, you guys are gonna create like, you guys are gonna shaking up this whole region. Just letting you guys know, so we prepare I didn't want to like also be so strict with like security and all that, because like I just get, you know, like the community and like the love they have for baseball, and like I wanted them to have like some access, so I kind of chose to prepare my boys to be ready for that.
Does it speak to the community that is Dominican Republic baseball players in the MLB, like that you all come together for each other? I mean, I don't think people maybe in the U.S. understand what a tight-knit community players are together like that.
Definitely. I feel like we're all like a big family. Once we go on the field against each other, we're playing like playing your best friend. You want to go all out. You gotta compete. You want to basically beat them, so you have that on them. But like once we're off the field and like we're just hanging out, we're like a family.
Which of those Dominican players, either on WBC or so, have you known the longest? Or yeah.
I have known the longest. I mean, guys like O'Neal Cruz. I got to know, let's say, Vladdy along the way, Tatis, Soto, Perdomo, Jeremy Pena. Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of them.
Since like before you signed?
Yeah, well, I would say kind of along the way, but like really, really early.
Yeah.
I would say Perdomo was one of the earliest I met, I should say, yeah.
Julio, when did the hurt of Game 7 go away? Like the frustration that being so close, and did you allow yourself to watch the World Series, or could you not watch it?
I would say the hurt. It went away. I should say like pretty quickly, because I felt like I had something else to look forward to. You know, I feel like I kind of turned to like the positive things of it. Obviously, like you learn, like I learned like a lot from the playoff, and I feel like I focus a lot more on those lessons. You know, like it's pretty easy to just beat on yourself and like things like that. Like, oh, like we're so close, like, but like nah, like we were like a really good team. You know, we were a really good team, and we had them on the ropes. You know, all the way up until like late in the game. And it says a lot about like, you know, the team that we have. So I feel like for me, like I really, you know, after like I had like a little moment in the clubhouse and like let my emotions out a little bit. I feel like that's what like came to me. You know, I feel like I'm a big competitor, and like I even though I allow myself to feel things at the same time, like I try to get the best out of the situation, and you know, definitely like turn my eyes to this season, because it's something that I think as a team we should be looking forward to, especially after like actually experience the playoff baseball and like kind of getting that rush of it. Like it's addicting, to be honest. It's addicting. So I feel like that's what kind of like allowed me to kind of get over that, you know, my emotions on that, and like kind of get ready to compete again and get back to the playoff.
You said a few years ago that it was like you didn't realize how hard it was to get back after 22. You guys just expected to be back, and you didn't get there. It's going to be even more difficult to get to the level you guys want to get to, which is not just the playoffs but the World Series.
I mean, nothing in baseball is easy. You know, nothing in baseball is easy. But what I know for sure is that as a team we have a better understanding of who we are, and all the things you gotta do and sacrifice to get there. You know, I feel like, you know, that to get there there's a price to pay. That has to be there in focus and preparation, and you know, like once you go to the field, like play 9 innings, make all the little plays, make all the pitches as a pitcher, you know, make all the, you know, moving the runner over, like doing all those things, bunting the ball when you need to bunt it. Like it takes a lot, you know, it takes a lot for a team to get there and go that far. And I feel like now we know. I think as a team, we understand what we need to pay for to get back there.
You talked about letting your emotions out and everything. You're only 25 with all this wonderful experience. You see yourself each year taking more of a leadership role on this baseball team?
I should say yeah. You know, I should say yeah. But at the same time, you know, I just feel like the best way I can do that is just showing up every day. You know, like, you know, I can talk and like reach out to some of the guys, and if I see something, like I'm gonna talk about it or whatever. But I feel like the way that I prefer the most, like going about it, it's like, you know, once I get step on the field, it's like, you know, I'm not gonna play hard, you know, and like I just expect everybody to go out there and do the same thing.
When did you start to feel comfortable? You said, you know, you see something, you're not afraid to go tell somebody. Like, when did that kind of maybe start to happen for you? You said.
I feel like with time, though. I feel like with time, and you know, I would say in the past couple of seasons, but like especially last year, you know, that I actually felt comfortable, because even though, like, you know, I can play and do all that. There are just things that you have to develop and learn along the way, you know. And yeah, I would say like last year was the one that I felt the most comfortable actually doing it.
All right. Thanks for
Thanks,
that.
Thank you.
Thank you.